So how about if we create some enumerations, or enums for short? So I have a new program here, a clean program, and we're going to see if we can create some enums and then manipulate them a little bit. We found out that enumerations are a really great way to force a list of items, because you probably know that a free format field, like just I'm giving a text field to key in things, import or opens up your program to a bunch of errors. And so an enumeration is an excellent way to kind of contain the values that they can enter. So we're going to declare an enumeration, excuse me. So we're going to use the keyword enum. I'll call it days of the week. And then with no equal sign, I'm just going to do a comma separated list. So we're going to have Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Comma separated. Notice that there are no quotes, single quotes, double quotes around these values, because these are constants. Now, if you remember, the index or the value of Sunday is going to be 0 because we have not set it to anything else currently. So once I've declared it, let's declare, instantiate some objects of the days of the week type. So days of week, how about if we create, I don't know, day 1, we'll create day 2, and then let's create day 3, and then we're going to give them some values. So now that we have an enum and we have objects of our enum, we're going to give them some values. So this time I'm going to say day 1 is equal to, and it can only be one of the 7 options. So I'm going to say it's equal to Monday. Notice I didn't have to surround Monday by quotes because it's not a string. It's a constant enumerator. So we will set day 2 equal to, how about if we set it equal to Thursday? And then let's display the values. So we will just see out day 1. And then from here we will day 1. Let's just see what's in it. And then maybe we will force a tab. And we'll say day 2. And let's see what is in day 2. So this tells me that day 1 is 1 and day 2 is 4. I'm going to kind of drag this down here because we set day 1 to Monday, which is an index, or excuse me, a value of 0, 1. So Monday should most definitely be a 1. And I can see that it is a 1. Day 2 we set to Thursday. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember we told you that the default value of the first enumerator in the list will be 0 unless we set it to something else. And then the value of each enumerator after that subsequent enumerator is going to be the prior one plus 1. So since we never set them to anything, we are getting the right answer. So let's see if we can set day 3 equal to something else. Maybe someday or something else. Notice that it is not happy when I'm trying to set it to something else. That's because someday, first of all, is not a constant enumerator in days of the week, but second of all, someday surrounded by double quotes. What is this? So this is not valid. Which means that we have now constrained our user to setting day 3 or making day 3 something that is within my qualified list that we created when we declared the enumerator or enumeration. So let's see if we can set day 3. This is minus. We were trying to get the difference of the 2 days. That should have been 1 minus 4. That would be, should give me a negative 3. 1 minus 4 is a negative 3. Which means that, now that I am actually subtracting the 2 of them, I should be able to compare the elements. So I should be able to say something like, if day 1 is less than day 2, just compare the two elements. I'm going to do the shortcut because all we want to do is see out day 1 comes before day 2. We'll force a new line after there. I'll put my else. Might want to do an else if here. And then we'll say else if day 1 is greater than day 2. We would say day 2, or maybe I'll keep it in the same format. Day 1 comes after day 2. And that would be the final else. Obviously, what is my final else? They are obviously the same day. And then we'll run it. So it says day 1 comes before day 2. I would expect it because day 1 was Monday, day 2 was Thursday. So we can actually do a comparison between the values. So what if we wanted to set them, instead of allowing the value to be 0 through 6, how about if we wanted to give them some kind of an initial value? So we're going to create an enumerator, enumeration that has values other than the default. So we're going to use the keyword enum. I'm going to call this one water. Remember, there's no equal sign. I'm going to set freezing. Water can be freezing or water can be boiling, correct? But that would give freezing a 0 and boiling is 1. So I'm going to give it a default value. In Fahrenheit, what is the freezing temperature in Fahrenheit of water? That should be 32 degrees, right? Do you remember what the boiling point of water is in Fahrenheit? Should be 212. So now I have given them default values. No longer is it 0 and 1. It is now 32 and 212. So we should be able to use this now. So we're going to write a little program that prompts them for a temperature. We're going to tell them if their temperature is freezing or boiling, or if it's just right. And then we're going to do it again until they've given us some sentinel value to quit, which means that we're going to have some kind of a variable to key in if I'm going to prompt them for the temperature. Right now it's unhappy because I have not initialized it to anything. So I'm going to put this whole entire thing inside of a do while. So that do it again. I'll put the closing brace and the while. We're going to have to decide what my condition is to exit. Obviously, we're going to have to change the condition, right? In order to be able to do that, you want to change the condition somehow. So we're going to prompt them for the temperature. And so I'll say enter the current water temperature. And then I'm going to give them the sentinel value to exit, 99 to exit. I might want to say a negative 99. Generally, your sentinel value would be some value that they may or may not key in naturally. And then based upon the value that they have keyed in, we do need to see that in, and we're going to put it in temp. We're going to display freezing or boiling. So I'm going to say if temp is less than freezing, then we are going to see out something like the water is frozen. We'll force a new line. And then I'll say else if temp is greater than boiling, and we'll say greater than or equal to. We're going to allow both of these, less than or equal to freezing, greater than or equal to boiling. We will see out the water is boiling. Force a new line there. And then I'll do my default else at the end to see out The water is just right. Have you read Little Red Riding Hood before? We'll force a new line there. I guess that would be Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? Not Little Red Riding Hood. Okay. Anywhere. So we need to change the condition. And first of all, we need to have some kind of a condition. And the condition is while the temp is not equal to our sentinel value, which we set at a negative 99, or whatever you'd like to set that sentinel value to, preferably something that they're not going to naturally key in as a part of your original question. So the change of the condition is going to be when I do it again, it's going to automatically prompt for it again with the sentinel value. So it's prompting me for a number. If I say 15, I would expect that to be freezing. If I put in something greater than 212, greater than or equal to 212, I'd expect it to be boiling. But if I put it something in between, like 150, it's going to say the water is just right. I'm going to key in my sentinel value to get out and see what it does. Well, first of all, it did exit, but then it told me my water is frozen. So if I don't want to display the freezing or boiling when they key in the sentinel value in this do while, I could switch this whole entire thing into a while loop, which would test the condition before it actually displays freezing or boiling. So these are enumerations. So now we've seen a data type that allow you to kind of control the input values. So it's your turn. What I'd like you to do is to write a program for your friends. So I would like you to create a friend struct that has at least 4 member variables. You can decide what data you want to track about your friends. I want you to declare at least 2 friend objects, and then you're going to prompt the user to fill the information in the 2 friend objects, and then ultimately I'd like you to print out what you have recorded. Now, the bonus, if you use an enumerator as one of the member variables, you get a bonus points for that. As always, I want there to be some kind of a friendly greeting and a graceful close, and I'd like you to mirror back all relevant information, include inline comments and test cases.